Sam Phillips.
Hello, Gaby.
So here's the thing. When I tell people that I'm chatting to you, people sort of start fanning themselves but in a sort of Bridgerton-like way.
The Bridgerton effect.
It is. It's really bizarre. They sort of go, ooh, and they fan. Does that happen to you everywhere you go since you've been Bridgerton? Does everyone fan themselves?
I was at a premiere for something last night, and there was a woman who did get very flustered and start sort of speaking in tongues, and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm just sort of standing here politely nodding and smiling. So it's quite interesting to see that effect on people. It doesn't happen usually when I'm in my rubbish clothes walking down the road going to the gym.
Do you know what? I'd love that. I'd love that you're walking down the road and then every woman got their fan out.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they're sort of 17th century fans, and just where the hell did you get those fans from? It's amazing.
Can you get them?
Yes.
Can you still buy 17th
I should think probably somewhere like Angel's Costume. They still have some 17th century fans that you could purchase.
Do you have any?
No, but I sound like I'm selling them as a side job for acting at the moment.
I think you should get some. I really do. Can you
offer them out to people?
Yes.
And just be like,
so when they start fanning, you say, "Oh, look what I have in my back pocket,
Don't worry.
madam."
I've got you covered. You're absolutely fine. You're fine.
Do you know? Is it true that you put this on a mood board, or you visualised it and you manifested this job?
Yeah, I did.
After the other big gig you got on Netflix.
Yeah, I did. I was.
Hello, The Crown.
Lovely, darling. Yes, The Crown. I did. It was lockdown. 2021 was an interesting year, wasn't it? With lockdown 2.0, and not a lot of actors were working at the time.
Yeah, our industry was scary.
It was scary, wasn't it? And at that time, I was just in a place where I was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of inspiration from nature, from the sea, from going down and doing meditation. I started to think about like manifesting, and had a friend that did a lot of that. And I started putting into practice and writing gratitude lists, and started doing like a manifestation board.
Love it.
And one of the things was I would love to play a big part in another Netflix show, because I'd done The Crown. You know, it was a great experience, but granted, it was...
I'm laughing because that's such a line. I've done The Crown.
I've done The Crown.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, that was done.
One of the world's biggest shows.
Yeah. But the part was, it was small, but cut even more. The cutting room floor was not kind to me.
Oh.
So I think I was really wanting to do something which was, had a nice character arc. And then I did a board. And
so what are you okay to describe what was on the board?
Yeah, I had it was the kind of manifestation board which you're probably used to, where you might draw the kind of house that you want, or the, I don't know, car seems a bit arbitrary. I think I was doing more like jobs, but there was definitely something around doing a period piece.
No.
Because I did have like a guy dressed in sort of I guess like a 17th century costume that I put, because I cut out bits from magazines and stuff, and I found one of those. And I also found something which was sort of, I think, set in an office, because I had an idea of doing something like, I don't know, something more in the kind of modern realm.
Comedy,
yeah, because I love it. And then I put that board away.
Where? I need to be there.
Sure.
I need a proper
cut it all out, wrote things down, took out sort of clips from magazines, and then put it under my bed.
Okay.
And then I just didn't look at it for a while.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then every sort of, 2 months, I would look under, have a look at it and go, okay, so where am I at now? Am I closer to that thing? Am I closer to that thing? And then what was great was I started just to get work. And after, the COVID sort of quietness, work started to come in. And then it kind of, snowballed from there, really. Just
so what was it? So did you get Bridgerton? You did that. Bridgerton wasn't the first thing that you got after that, was it?
I think I got like 2 really lovely short films, and then I got an offer to do, I think, a Father Brown or something like that, and an offer to do an indie film. And then the audition of Bridgerton came along, and I loved the show. Didn't think too much of the audition. Did the tape.
What do you mean you didn't think you did very well?
I think I think I did well. I didn't care that much about it, in terms of, I cared about the project, but us neurotic actors, sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves. And with Bridgerton, I was so like, just give this a go. I think I did one take.
Yeah.
And I just
Was it
like
a self-tape?
self-tape, yeah,
Right.
with a friend who was
Yeah.
down visiting me. We'd had a couple of drinks the night before, and you had to put this thing on tape the next day. I think I just had that sense of whatever, let's see how it goes, and
Love
then
that.
just sent it off. And then 2 months later, they were like, "You got that gig," and yeah, and that was it. And then a few weeks later, I was in fittings, costume fittings, and wig fittings, and then it was all go.
Was it anything? Was your costume anything like your manifestation board?
A little bit. It definitely had the kind of I don't know what you call the frilly bits around the neck. I don't know, the rough.
We'll just
the
call
rough.
them. We'll just call them
Yeah,
the frilly
bits. It had
Yeah.
the frilly bits, and it definitely had that sort of 17th century feel. So that was pretty amazing. I was like, okay, this stuff does work.
I love that.
Because don't you think it is that thing, isn't it, of energy? If you just, it's about that energy, and you're putting your focus towards that, and it does. You can feel it coming back a bit.
And well, obviously this is reasons to be joyful, and I believe very passionately in that putting positive out there.
Yeah.
And that's obviously what you did. And it's it's a hard gig being an actor, and you work extremely hard. And I think a lot of people who don't know, they watch the TV, they go to the films, they go to the theatre, whatever it is, they watch it and they think, oh, that's a fun job. Yeah. Oh, they get paid so much money. Oh, and they say they work hard. It's long hours and no pay.
Long hours and pay is like, the scale of pay is so, I don't know, there's so much disparity, isn't there, from like one job to the next.
But you love it.
But I just love it. It's the addiction of it. I think most actors would say, God, it's a big addiction.
But that's interesting. So I've had this conversation with people before about it being an addiction. And because I'm very lucky, I, like you, knew what I wanted to do when I was very young. And I've talked about it a lot on this. But I've always said, oh, I'm addicted to being a TV presenter and a broadcaster, and I love live. And then I realised it's not an addiction. It's an absolute love. I'm really lucky to do something I love.
Yeah.
So if they took it away from you, you wouldn't go into cold sweats, but you'd be very sad because you love it.
That's true. That's a really good way to reframe it, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I could live without it. Of course I could. But I just enjoy it. I'd be sad. I'd feel like it's missing because I've wanted to do this since I was so young. And I've always been a jobbing actor. And I sort of, I like that. It's good. I like going from...
You were in EastEnders.
I was. Well, I was in East... do you remember E20?
Yes. I'm an EastEnders. I've never missed an episode in my life.
You love EastEnders. I know that about you. Yeah. Have you really never missed an episode?
Never missed an episode.
Oh, my goodness. I couldn't even tell you what's happened. It's been a long time since I've seen EastEnders. And I did a job with Jessie Wallace like a few years ago, and she was sort of filling me in on all the EastEnders goss.
Just because it's building up to the 40th birthday.
Oh my, so 40.
40th anniversary in February next year. I actually even sadly know the date.
Go on, what's the date?
I'm actually really embarrassed. I'm really embarrassed now.
Okay, well,
I'm
I'll spare your
that much
blushes.
of a super fan. But yeah, you've done so many things, so many different things. I like the word jobbing actor.
Yeah.
People sort of just go, oh, I'm a jobbing actor. It's not about, for you, I get the feeling that it's not about the fame after what you've just said as well. But you've enjoyed the Bridgerton bubble because it's a crazy bubble.
But I think I've had enough times where I've been, not working, or the resting period, as us actors like to call it. Well, I think I've learned, just to be perhaps more grateful when the big gigs come, because I've known the
That's nice.
tough times and I've known the nicer times. So I've had the whole gambit of, being a jobbing actor. And yeah, I just was so grateful. Every time a nice gig comes along, I'm just very happy to be there.
That's a wonderful way to be. So you were brought up in a family who were involved in the industry. Your dad.
My dad, TV director, did a lot of sitcoms in the 80s and 90s. Like,
go on, show off. It's quite wonderful what
did
he
he do? He did... it's sort of I'm thinking now. Desmond's, Birds of a Feather, Goodnight Sweetheart, My Family.
So much.
Yeah, sort of. He was a big director. Goodnight Sweetheart. Did I say that already?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry, yeah. Repeating myself, getting old now. And it was just growing up and watching him do it and seeing sort of the magic of being on those sets.
So did you go to the
I would
set?
go all the time. I would be like, can I come again? It'd be like, bring your kid to work day all the time. And I think my dad was like, it's getting a bit annoying now.
I don't believe that.
But I think it was birds of a feather watching those women be brilliant on set and just spark off each other. And I was like, I'd love to do that. I sort of fell in love. And the idea of being on those sets and then seeing behind the scenes and how exciting that was.
So did you do drama at school?
I did, yeah. That was the thing that I knew I wanted to do from the age of 8. I think my first job was playing Uncle George in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when I was 8 years old. And I excelled, not picking myself up, as Uncle George in that bed scene. And then just joined a youth theatre group in Guildford about 3 or 4 years later. And then just from there, it was the only thing, not the only thing, it was the biggest thing in my life. I just wanted to do it so much. And then my mum said to me the other day, it's like, I used to pick you up from that drama youth group and your face was always lighting up. It was just, that was what you kind of lived for, I guess. So.
I hear you. I found we were clearing some stuff of my dad's house, and I found a project I did at school. So then when I was 3, I knew I wanted to be a TV presenter. I found a project from when I was 12, and it was about the BBC. And it was I'd written every TV show that was on the cover and on the back, and I'd torn out bits of Radio Times, and I'd written the presenters, and I'd written it all, and then it was facts and figures. The viewing figures, I just cut them all out. It wasn't really a project.
But this was yours. This was your manifestation board, wasn't it?
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
At 12. But I get it. So when you say that you were young, and your face, when you said, I thought I was going to cry then. I could see that feeling.
Yeah. It doesn't go... I wonder if it goes away. I'm maybe too young, hopefully, to sort of know that yet. But I feel like for me, it won't go away. That will always be there.
Of course it won't.
And I think that will probably keep me going, doing this job till the day I die, which is absolutely fine by me.
So what is it? So for people who don't work in the industry, and there are a lot of people who listen to this, of course, who don't, which is lovely. And thank you very much for listening. But what is it like when you're on a big show like The Crown or Bridgerton or any of the other? You've done so many different jobs, as you say. What is it like, you say, going onto the set? What is it like? Do you turn up and then everybody runs around and they bring you teas and coffee, and then you sit back and they massage your face and they do a makeup and they go, darling, darling, darling,
it's all
darling.
that, yeah. It's just a lot of face massages and
darlings.
And people bowing to you and all that. Of course it is.
So what's it really like?
No, what it's like is, I think turning up to set and seeing, especially if you're on, I'll use The Crown as an example, like you go to these very extravagant, very old sets, around these huge estates around the country. And you turn up and you see hundreds of crew and cast, it's such a big operation. And everyone is just a master at what they do. And you see that, you see the guys doing the lighting or the sound, and everyone is just tweaking and so detailed. It's the minutiae of that. And then seeing, some of the most incredible actors and being in their presence and kind of just the inspiration from that is just, yeah, it's joyous. It's so fun to watch and observe. And you have to be a sponge as an actor, really. And I think feeling that camaraderie and the fact that everyone wants to make something really good, I think
that's lovely.
Isn't that nice? It's just that's where you feel like we're doing something here. We're really making something. And it's having an impact on a lot of people. That's why I love, as cheesy as it sounds, but that's why I love storytelling, because it's that's making a difference to people. We are not saving lives, but we're certainly helping.
You're making people feel better.
Yeah.
You're taking people away from sometimes their very, very difficult lives.
We're helping their lives. Yeah. And actually, I think it's become a bit of cliche to go, we're not saving lives, and we're not. Of course, we're not doctors. Of course, we're not doing that. But you think about COVID as an example.
Oh, look, we needed it. We needed you guys. Oh my goodness!
And yet we were the last people to be thought of in many ways. It took so long for them to go, okay, we recognise that this is a really important trade.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other topic. But yeah, that's what I find inspiring about it. That's what keeps me going. Is I went to a drama school where it was a lot about.
Where did you go?
Guildhall.
Right.
It was a lot about ensemble and a lot about creating something bigger than yourself together. And that's what kind of inspired me. So, yeah.
So you just said that you've been on set with some inspiring people, and of course, the people that do the lighting and the sound and the makeup and the directors and everybody, the runners, they're so important.
Oh my God, so important.
But you say it's quite inspiring to watch some actors. So you made me suddenly, I thought, who, when you were a sponge, who did you... Not sponge off. That's completely not what I mean.
Sponge off? Well, no, it kind of is half true because you're looking, you're looking at that actor and finding out what, they're trying to, they're being authentic if they're doing their job. They're really connecting with the other actor or actors, and that's the work. But you can see, I guess we all know that people have their, I don't want to say tricks, but you can see
that's okay.
Yeah, and I think just knowing that, like, I guess Olivia Colman is a good example for someone who has that unwavering concentration, doesn't do lots of prep, by her own admission, doesn't do lots of prep before, but turns up and goes, all right, what's going to happen? And just kind of embodies it. And, I think people like that, at drama school, it's so much about doing all the prep and like getting yourself and doing the timelines and the given circumstances of your character. And it's really inspiring to find someone that just goes, okay, I'm going to try something completely different and just throw caution to the wind and just go for it. And
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, she was a good example of someone who did that.
That's fantastic. I remember, same as you, going to drama school. And I remember we all had to do characterization. And there was one of my classmates who stood up and the teacher went, but where's this and where's that? And she just went, do you know what? I'm not digging into my past because that's never happened to me. I'm just going with this because this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And the teacher's sort of storming out going, don't you know?
How dare you?
But actually, sometimes it is just that, isn't it?
I think the thing is always, I think what I've learned, because I think the longer you've been out of drama school, I think I've learnt more on the jobs that I've done than I have at drama school. And that's not to diss drama school. I'm so grateful for it. But you kind of take what you need and discard what you don't need. But it's also going, I found my way to do it. And sometimes for that job, this is helpful, and sometimes this is helpful, and sometimes that's not helpful. And, it kind of goes like that.
But that's the same whatever job you do, isn't it? That, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're working in Sainsbury's, whether you're a teacher, it's working on the job is actually a really good way to learn.
I was going to say, it's sort of, it's funny because you feel like sometimes at your drama school, you feel like, well, I need to do it all in 3 years and be this sort of complete actor by the time you come out. Because of course, that's not how life works. It's like you make mistakes and you mess up and, get things wrong. And that's how I've learned as well, by all the mistakes I've made.
So what did your dad say when you said, hello, I want to do this?
I want to be an actor. He went, right, okay, and you do know what that entails. And I think even at 8 years old, I was like, yeah, sure. Thinking, well, you're not going to tell me, either way I'm going to do it. And as time went on, I think he went, oh, actually, the kid's got a talent for this. He saw me in a production of something at this youth theatre group playing John Proctor in The Crucible. And I think he was like, oh, no, I think this is
The Crucible as a child?
Yeah, at 17, I was playing John Proctor.
17, okay.
And yeah, he brought an agent, a friend of ours who's a casting director, and she went, okay, I think he's going to be an actor. He's good enough to do this. So,
that's lovely.
So then it was like, okay, now completely supportive, but, you are preparing yourself for a life of uncertainty. And but they were so supportive of me. And I think even my dad being in the industry, it's nice to have a shorthand with him about it sometimes, that we talk a lot about, both sides and the industry in general. So
I must be so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'd be very proud of him as well, those shows.
I'm very proud of him. Very proud.
So for you now, Bridgerton is there. It's the crazy bubble of Bridgerton.
Yeah.
But you also, if I may point out, on Instagram, Samos Philippos.
Yeah, Samos Philippos.
Why Samos Philippos?
Samos Philippos was, I think it was a nickname that I was given at school. Samos became a sort of nickname.
I like it.
Yeah. And then it's sort of searching for a username on Instagram. I was like, I could just put Os on Phillips as well. And I think that was just...
Samos is a good name.
Arbitrary.
But I see a lot of Commodore on there. So is that what you just said earlier on as well? You love it.
I love it. Yeah. I did quite a lot of comedy early on in my career, and then got cast more as sort of high status people and lords and things. And I just love silliness and being funny and making people laugh and being in stitches because someone's just made me laugh. And
perfect. I love it.
I just, me and a guy called Joe Barnes, my friend Joe, met on Bridgerton, actually, and we started to talk about the idea of doing some comedy stuff together, some comedy sketches. And then he had the idea of, he's like, why don't we put ourselves in movies? I've always sort of watched movies and thought, isn't it funny if you just twisted it a bit and like, you know, put yourself in a really high stakes scenario, but you're kind of playing the everyman that's slightly awkward. And it went from there. And it's not the most original idea, but we were like, I think we could do it really well.
Very funny.
And thank you. And so we just started doing that. We put them out there and they've just been really well received. So we're just carrying on and just doing it more for us because it's like we don't really have an end goal, but it's going quite well and people are starting to take interest. But we just wanted to do something for us.
And it's good to keep the thoughts going and the ideas going and all of those things. Do you write other dramas and comedies as well?
Certainly have done. Yeah, I've done it. I've directed a bit, and I've written some stuff. I'm not the most confident writer, if I'm honest, Gaby, but like I enjoy it, and I feel like that's something that I want to do more of. But in terms of comedy sketches, I like it, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So
it's very interesting. If you look at television now, I wonder. I'd love to ask. Obviously, we can't ask your dad. That'd be really weird because he's not here. Hello.
Give him a text.
But what he thinks of the situation of comedy now on television, because sitcoms don't really exist anymore.
I feel like we might have talked about this recently. Yeah, it's true. Sitcoms just aren't around
really
now.
Sad. And sketch shows, we don't see sketch shows anymore.
I mean, even less so with sketch shows. And we did speak about that actually. And I think it's obviously sometimes the cost is so great with a sketch show, isn't it? Because you have to do all those locations and all the different characters. But I really miss the kind of the fast shows and Big Trains and all those fantastic sketch shows and sitcoms. Like, what were your favourites? Did you have?
But I love a sitcom. You were talking about Tom. I love King Gary. King Gary. We talk about this a lot on the show, but that from new ones, obviously Gavin and Stacey is brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
To The Office, and then back in time to Good Night Sweetheart was really clever.
It was good, wasn't it? It was really
Fools
well.
and Horses, the ones that people all talk about that have lasted time. I mean, they've even got a live version of Fawlty Towers in town now.
But you mentioned all those names, and they're some of the most popular shows that have ever been made, aren't they?
To the Manor Born. I just interviewed Penelope Keith.
Did you?
And To the Manor Born was the most watched thing. Her wedding was it was something like 25 or 26 million people. And I know it was different then. It was different. The way we viewed television was very different. And it's important that we move with the times. But
bring back.
It was huge.
Yeah, and also, why not bring back the kind of, we need a lot of that right now, right? We need so much comedy and bring back those, because something like The Office as well, just beautifully balanced, like, the tragidrama or the tragicomedy.
Motherland, that's a brilliant new one.
Yes, Motherland's great. Yeah, they're still out there, aren't they? But I think there needs to be more, and certainly with sketches. We were having a meeting with someone recently, and they were saying the same thing. They were like, yeah, we should be bringing these back. So we're like, let's get involved.
So
let's
do it.
Yeah.
What about your dad? Does he still do it?
My dad, I think he feels a bit too old now because when COVID happened, I think he was like, I think I'm sort of enjoying the quietness a bit of retirement, and but I think he would love to do it.
He
secretly.
would. If
I think he wants to get back because
Yeah.
he's got the same passion as I do. It's like you can see him light up when he talks about it, and I'm like. So I think, who knows? Never say never, right?
Oh, I hope not. Well, good luck with the drama.
Thank you.
Good luck with all the other stuff, and enjoy the Bridgerton bubble. And please do me a favour and go and buy some fans to hand out. I would love that. Can we just film it with you? What was his name again? Joe? No,
Joe Barnes.
Right. So you and Joe you've just got to walk down the street, get an outfit, a Bridgerton outfit from the set. Ask them if you can borrow it. Walk down the street and see if women do the fanning thing, and then just hand them a fan.
Yeah.
And just film that.
Do you know it'd be really awkward if they just didn't, and they were like, "Who the hell are you?" And you're like, "No, I'm that guy. Take the fan."
And then maybe you just get Nicola to do it with you.
That's true. Yeah, if you get Nicola Coughlan,
Yeah, give her a call.
Surefire.
Ask her.
Yeah.
I met her years ago. That sounded like a swore. I wasn't. I just went, she. I met her years and years ago when she was doing Dairy Girls. The very beginning of Dairy Girls. What a lovely girl.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and also so switched on. Like, she's just cultivated this incredible career for herself. And she's just, I'm just in awe of how she's just a powerhouse. Like, you know, it's impressive.
Well, send her my love.
I will do.
It was a long time. When did Dairy Girls start?
Oh,
See,
that
there's
was
another
like
comedy.
Yeah,
there we go.
They are out there.
There are a few. But we need one with Samos Philippos.
Yes, we do. We do.
And Joe.
And Joe Barnes.
Joe Barnes. We'll keep forgetting his surname.
It's coming.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That sounded threatening, didn't it? It's coming.
No, it didn't. It sounded quite good. Thank you very much, Sam.
All right. Thanks, Gaby.
Gaby Roslin Podcast.